Hi, and welcome to Soul Talks with Sonia. I'm Sonia, licensed professional counselor, and I have a passion for single women and helping them through their journey as they wait to get married. So, this is part three of dating versus courtship. You can't talk about this in one setting, it's just a continuous conversation. So we talked about the definition of dating versus courting, and some people say, well, how do I have to date in order to get married, but there is a definite difference. And so it is said that people who are of the world date, Christians should practice courtship. And courtship is just basically you have a friendship with a guy and you're both praying, seeing if this should go further than a friendship. And so you both are seeking God, discerning, praying, fasting as you get to know the person. If you both hear that you're not each other's spouses, you still have a friendship. Platonic, innocent, should be sex free friendship. And so sometimes God will use a friendship to heal you when you've been healed and broken from relationships of the past. He'll just send an innocent, pure friendship to help heal you with that process. So I did want to share what not to do, learning from some of my mistakes. I didn't always practice courtship. I started off dating and I realized this dating thing, this is not it. I even did online dating. And it just wasn't for me. I was convicted. I'm online, typing in my information. The Holy Spirit said, you're not going to meet your husband that way because he knows me. Now, pause. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with online dating. I'm saying that wasn't for me. I like organic and I like stories. I'm an author. I write. So God knew that that was not how I really wanted to meet my husband. I wanted to be able to tell a story, and I have an awesome story to tell. So He knows me, right? I know people that met their spouses online, and they're great. So I'm not against that, okay? But you have to do what God leads you to do, right? Okay. So there are a lot of women who I see it on social media who are so discouraged about the dating process, right? And um, it's disheartening, right? And then there are also a lot of marriages that are crumbling too, that are going through a lot. The devil's attacking marriages, he's attacking singles too, right? Having singles think I'm not in that club anymore, but having them think that it's never going to happen, which is not true. Because God says He'll give you desires of your heart. Now, I touched a little bit on waiting with God versus waiting on God, so I'll go in a little bit more details with that. And my other book is about waiting, not necessarily on the spouse, it's just when God has you in the waiting room. Okay. So, what I learned as I was waiting on God to tell my husband that I was his wife, which was a long wait. So here I am. I told God, I said, you have me in two waiting rooms. Is there a waiting room? I said, I'm in a waiting room inside a waiting room. So I've been waiting on the husband. Okay. Then you showed me my husband in 2017. So I'm waiting 2017, 2018 is here. Nothing has happened. In 2019, in January, you said, oh, this is about to happen. And it happened in December of 2019. That was a lot of waiting. So when you wait on somebody, let's say you had to pick somebody up, right? It's okay, I got work at 5. And you there at 4:55. Now it's 5:10, 5:15. You text, you call, you ain't heard anything. It's 5:30. It's hot out here. There's no shade. Now it's 5:45. You frustrated, irritated, impatient. That's what it's like when you're waiting on somebody, waiting to get married, waiting on a baby. But when you're waiting with someone, let's say you know a good friend that has to have surgery. Okay, so you go, you're in the hospital, in the waiting room, and another friend comes. You're waiting, time goes by, you're talking, you're catching up, you're going to get something to eat, go for a walk after you eat, go back to the hospital, you're in the waiting room, you're still chatting up, and time just goes by because you have someone to wait with. So that's what God wants us to do as singles, wait with Him. When you're waiting on the husband, the relationship, you're impatient, you're irritable, you're frustrated because that's where your focus is. God says, if you just wait with me, you just focus on your purpose, you just focus on working on yourself, working on your temper, working on your disorganization, working on healing your heart. If you work on these things, time goes by so fast. You won't be so consumed with this spouse. Okay. So one of the mistakes I made as I was dating was I was seeing a guy who was religious, but he wasn't spiritual. And you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's religious and not spiritual, because how in the world is he going to lead you if he can't hear from God when he's religious? Okay. So a friend, my best friend, one of my best friends, is a prophetess. And God told her to tell me to let the relationship go. That he was not the one. And she didn't want to tell me that. It seemed like it broke her heart to tell me, but she was just being obedient. And me, because we talked about the mind a little bit, because I was determined, fixed on the fact that he was the one, I ignored what she said. I was like, oh, that's not God. That's not God telling you that. It was just as God, it shows my name, Sonia, it was God. But I didn't want to hear it. Why? Because my mind was set that he was the one. We assume, and assumptions are the lowest level of knowledge. You don't have no knowledge. You just telling yourself it is what it is when it's not, that it's not what it is. And so that's a mistake I made, was that you can have spiritual people around you telling you the truth about that person, but you don't want to hear it. And it could be they're telling you, hey girl, she's not your friend, but you don't want to hear it because of the time. See, we get caught up on the time. But we've been together 5 years, we've been together 10 years, and he's gonna propose, he's gonna give me a ring, or we've been friends 20 years. Well, what does quantity have to do with anything? It's about the quality. Is this person a sign of your life? Is this friend? Is this guy I'm in a relationship with? Is he a sign? Is this person part of your purpose? Okay. So be careful that you don't listen to those that love you, that are telling you about a person because you're fixed on the fact that that's the person. Well, I'm praying about him. Did God show me? Did God really? Maybe God showed you they were not the one. But because you have set your mind that he is the one, you're not budging. You have to be aware of stubbornness. Be weary and aware. Because the definition of stubbornness is the worship of your own opinion. So you have come to the opinion that he is the one, and God's steady showing you through various people that he is not the one. You can't get in a relationship and compromise your values, your morals of who you are just to be in a relationship. That's why it's important to spend time with God. God will heal you from past hurts. He will reveal things to you. And he just wants intimacy. He just wants the time with you. Because when you allow God to be in your life and be fully present, you don't have time for the BS. That's why one of the reasons I went on these one-time dates was because in college, the guys were immature, right? They were not emotionally mature, right? Then, how long I have? Okay. I try to do 15-minute talks with you all. Um, we get into relationships with men who are not emotionally mature. They're not aware of their emotions. They haven't grown up. So he may be 35, but emotionally he's 12. So my specialty is trauma. And, I'm talking to you like a girlfriend, a sister, a counselor, a mother, a auntie, because I want you as single women to get it right. No, no one wants to see their daughter in pain. Your parents don't want to see it. God doesn't want to see it. He'll dry your tears, but he doesn't want you to keep getting hurt. Situation after situation, relationship after relationship, whatever you in, situationships, whatever it is, he doesn't want his daughters to continue to get hurt. He wants you to guard your heart. He wants you to really know him. When you really know God, you know that he wants you to have the best. You can discern, this ain't God's best for me. I don't need, it's something about him. I don't know what it is. I learned from last time. So just make sure that you're spending time with God. If you're celibate, that you have other friends that are celibate too, that way you can encourage one another. It's hard to, when you've had sex and you're trying to be celibate, but none of your crew is celibate. They telling you about their escapades. Now you're tempted. So you have to guard your gates. In other words, you have to guard what you listen to. So not just music, but who you're talking to. You have to guard what you watch. You have to watch and guard what you say. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So don't say you never get married. Don't say that you won't meet a guy that's celibate that doesn't have your same values. Don't say that because then you're speaking into the atmosphere. You need to say the opposite, right? I said every year, this is the year I'm gonna get married until it manifested. Did I get tired of saying it? Absolutely. But until it manifested, I wasn't going to allow the devil to take that from me because that was a desire in my heart. Now, there were times I did listen to him. There were times when I was feeling hopeless that it wasn't going to happen. But God promised me that he will give me the size of my heart. And I wanted to be steadfast and believe that. So you will get on this journey, you will single journey, you will get discouraged, you will get lonely, you will get tired of being alone, but you have to stay the course and stay out of that comparison trap. Because you looking in somebody else's lane and you crash. Just because they look like they happily ever after doesn't mean that they are. I know some ladies got discouraged too when various celebrities' marriages ended who were practicing courtship. That's their life. It's not your life. Don't make their stuff your stuff. And my heart goes out to them because divorce is a death. Divorce is not fun. It's not cute. It is gut wrenching. And I don't know that from experience, but I know that from people who've had a divorce. You see people cry and weep in your office. You don't want any parts of that. That's why it's crucial, singles, that you wait with God on who He has for you. I'm still pinching myself. It's like, wow, I'm married. Almost 2 years in, I can't believe I'm married. Because you wait on something for so long and it happens, you can't believe it. And then God sent me this godly man who He handpicked, right? Just seeing his name on my phone makes me smile, right? It makes me blush. 5 years from now, 10 years, I'm gonna still be blushing, right? And so the blessing is in obedience. And right in the middle of the word obedience is the word die. And sometimes you have to die to your flesh. You have to die to your will. You want to be with this person, but that's not who God has for you. So you have a choice, a power choice, either be with who you want to be with or who God has assigned to you, who's a part of your purpose. And so, and when you get married, you're going to die too. Because in marriage, we can talk about that too. A little bit later on, you die. If you don't want to die, boo, get married because there has to be some type of compromise, right? Everything can't be about you. You know, you grew up spoiled and your dad catered to you, you're daddy's girl. They don't fly in marriage because it's totally different, right? Dad should have spoiled you and affirmed you. Now you married. And yeah, your husband should spoil you and affirm you too, but it's a different type of relationship. So wait with God, be encouraged, think about courtship. It's different, it's a different perspective, but it guards your heart, it protects you. And I believe this is God's will for us as Christians. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Soul Talks with Sonia, and I see you next week.